there? Welcome back to the Phantoms Fanatic YouTube channel. I am back with another review, and this review is of Black Adam, released this year in 2022, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Sarah Sahiri, Noah Centineo, Pierce Brosnan, Quintessa Sindwell, and Jennifer Holland. And this movie was directed by Jaume Collet Serra, and obviously this movie is set place in the mystical land of Kandarquak, or however you pronounce that name. Sorry, pronunciation is not my favorite thing. Is then set in an ancient city where back in the day these people are enslaving people, but then a champion is chosen by the Council of Wizards, which is Teth Adam, who is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Teth Adam is granted almighty god powers, as he uses them to take vengeance on the king who enslaved his people. Then he is imprisoned for 5,000 years to where he is woken up in the modern day, and then, as he starts to wreck over and become the protector of the kingdom again, the Justice Society is then sent over to try to stop him from being too much of a loose cannon. So obviously this is the newest movie in the DCEU. The DCEU hasn't had the DCCU, the DCCUU, the DC Cinematic Universe. Obviously, it has had its up and downs over the years, but there are some movies that I like, Shazam being one of them, which this is based off of Shazam, because Black Adam is one of Shazam's most popular known enemies, and we'll start off with the positives of this movie. The positives in this movie: Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of them. He is very good at this role. He plays a very stoic, but yet fucking blood-angry killing machine as Black Adam. He's like an Omni-Man type person, but has more moral compass than Omni-Man. But no, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson really does play this part well. He makes the comedic moments of this character land, and the more serious moments where he's genuinely intimidating with his performance as Black Adam. And definitely the costume and his performance and the effects and what they do with the character definitely make you satisfied by the end. And then also, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. I would like to point this out that I am a huge fucking Dr. Fate fan. So immediately when I saw this trailer and he was in this, I was like, fuck yes, Dr. Fate! Because he's one of my all-time favorite DC characters. And in this, he is handled also pretty fucking well. One of my favorite things about Brosnan's performance is that he can land the comedic moments with Dr. Fate, but then the more serious and also, like, not to reference Marvel, but like Sorcerer Supreme type moments, because I really like what they do with him is that he's a person who lived beyond his years because of this mystical item that he found, and he sees into the future and how fate may play out. And what I really like about his performance is that you see on his eyes the reactions of what must come and what has to happen to lead to certain things, and he is fucking badass in this movie, mainly because I am also just a huge Dr. Fate fan, but he is definitely done right. Same thing with Black Adam. I feel like they adapt the characters pretty well to this. My only problem with Black Adam is that he does get humanized, which I don't know how accurate this portrayal of Black Adam is to the comics, because he's not really a character who I paid attention to all in the comics, but in this movie in itself, I feel like Black Adam is handled insanely well, and I can't wait for him to face off with Shazam if that happens. Now, let's get to the problems. This movie's plot is very standard because it has normal plot beats, it has a villain in it, and all this type of crap, which really doesn't amount to much. But the strange thing, even though this movie seems pretty standard from the way I'm describing it, because a lot of what's revealed in what's going on in this movie, you can predict what's going to happen. The plot is very standard with its flashback cutscenes revealing other things, then leading up to a villain who I really didn't care about, who wasn't really all that impressive. I feel like what would have been much more of a compelling story is tackle mainly just the fighting between Black Adam and the Justice Society, between the moral compasses of those two ideals fighting each other, which I feel like that would have been a lot more of an interesting thing to explore. The most interesting aspect of the plot is Black Adam's character, because surprisingly, his character is handled very well in this, and The Rock does get off the comedic moments of him killing people and throwing people to the ground and how other heroes try to save people, but then they boo at them, because that is also interesting to where the people of this city have been enslaved and almost overruled by foreign oppressors, that they kind of agree with Black Adam's stance of just fucking kill everybody. And when Hawkman and other people are trying to save the bad guys, they're upset with that, which that's also interesting to me. But the main plot from a beat-by-beat scenario doesn't work out that well. Also, a lot of slow-mo is used in this, and I feel like some of it works well, especially in scenes where Black Adam is using, like, super speed to kill people, and the way he kills people, even though this is rated PG-13, and I feel like it being rated R would have been better, some of the things that he does to people in this are pretty gruesome for PG-13. He fucking completely disintegrates one guy with fucking lightning, but burns him down to, like, a skeleton. He rips off another motherfucker's arm, then throws a grenade down another guy's throat, and he explodes. That I'm fine with, but a lot of the slow-mo I do get a bit annoyed by, because it does drag out the fight scenes, which aren't bad by any standards of it, but the fight scenes in themselves are not all that interesting, or nothing really stand out, except scenes with Dr. Fate, because I love Dr. Fate. But yeah, with those type of scenes, I'm not all that interested in, and other than Dr. Fate and Black Adam, I'm really not that interested in any other character in this. Hawkman, he's alright. I like what his relationship is with Dr. Fate and his moral compass against Black Adam, but at the same time, he's kind of just emotionless good hero that I really don't give a fuck about. And then the two other people, Atom Smasher and Cyclone, they barely do fucking anything in the movie. They're only there for comedic relief and some interesting effects, but Atom Smasher also just looks like fucking Deadpool, so that I can't get that out of my fucking head. Yeah, there's a kid character in this who interacts with Black Adam and like says you need to be a catchphrase in superhero stuff. That kind of stuff I also don't find funny or entertaining. And as I said, the villain in this, I really didn't think this story needed a villain. As I said, the most compelling element to it would be if you kept these oppressors like non-super powerful villain guys, but you kept those oppressors, but then the Justice Society and Black Adam fighting, I feel like would have been a lot more compelling if you just focused on that. So yeah, as I said, most of the side characters and the plot itself isn't that engaging or interesting. It's just mildly standard for the most part. And some action scenes do stand out, but a lot of it is kind of just like two super-powered, super-strength beings punching each other, then way too much use of slow-mo and shit like that. But I will say, the movie is never boring or aggravating in any scenes. I do feel like, as long as The Rock is on screen, he really works with comedic elements of him not being in this world and not knowing things, and him just, like, flying through walls and shit, and his interactions with the other characters are relatively entertaining, except the kid. I don't give a fuck about the kid. And yeah, and then as I said, most of the side characters other than Dr. Fate are not all that interesting. But for relatively, this movie can be entertaining in moments, especially when Brosnan and The Rock are on screen. They really have good, compelling intrigues, and this does focus on Black Adam a lot, which does help the movie entertain. So, recommendation saying that this movie can be entertaining. You don't necessarily need to see it on the big screen, but it is worth the ticket admission because of The Rock and because of some other entertaining aspects of the plot, but most of it is just standard superhero movie, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it wasn't bad. The moments that were stand out were the moments that I was expecting to stand out, and those still are really interesting and entertaining in their own way. The Rock and Pierce Brosnan and some of the action scenes and the whole character of Black Adam himself does keep you entertained throughout the film. So, I don't know, if you want to go see this, go see it. It doesn't overstay its welcome, even though it's 2 hours long, but you never feel really bored, except maybe the part before the climax, and the action isn't all that engaging. Well, it's not bad action, but it's not very outstanding action. But for the most part, I don't know, it was fine to me. This movie, maybe don't see it in theaters, but if you have a group of friends and you guys want to enjoy a time in the theaters, you could waste it on a lot worse movies. So, I don't know. I recommend it if you want to see more DC superheroes. The Rock really does carry this, and same thing with the character of Black Adam. And if you're a Dr. Fate fan like me, then I recommend it because it's cool to see Dr. Fate. But maybe wait until this comes out on DVD if you're wanting to see it, or streaming, because I think those would be a lot better options than seeing it in theaters. Nothing's really stand out to see it in theaters. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe down below. If you have thoughts on the movie and the review itself, make sure to leave those in the comment sections. If you have any other movies you'd like me to review, put those in the comment sections as well. Share and favorite this with people. I always like to see the growth of the channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.